Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to COS Indiana Live. Yeah, I don't know. It feels like I've been away for quite a while, but it's only been a couple weeks due to the July 4th holiday. But joining me, as usual, tonight is my co-host, Ken Kashuba. Ken, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good, Dale, and I agree. It seems like it's been forever.
You know, speaking of July 4th, we owe everyone an apology. We had, I'm going to blame Ken on this, but no, not really. No, we had a best of setup for July 4th because obviously that was a holiday and we were celebrating July 4th as so many other people were. So we had set up to play a best of, and it didn't work, did it, Ken? So.
No, it didn't. I'm not sure, whether it was on the StreamYard side or whether it was just a bad setup.
We haven't figured it out yet. It's something we need to figure out because obviously we don't want that to happen again. But so, folks, we apologize for misleading you on that particular broadcast. We'll do our best to prevent that from happening again. But of course, as you know, Ken, as co-host, will be monitoring all of the viewer comments and questions. So we encourage you to send us your make your comment, send us your questions. We'll do our best to get them on and address them as the broadcast goes forth. Ken, I always like we started this a little while ago, but keeping track of the number of broadcasts. Tonight's number 157.
157.
157. So we're chalking them up. I'll tell you.
Pretty interesting.
Big celebration when we get to 200, huh? Okay.
I think so. Yeah, we'll have to have some kind of a party somewhere.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, just a reminder to everyone, our national website, conventionofstates.com. That's where we direct all of you that want to become part of Convention of States, become part of our Indiana Convention of States family. The first step is to go to our national website, conventionofstates.com. Also, I want to remind you that our next roundtable is coming up on July 25th. We always dedicate the fourth Monday of every month. We dedicate the entire COS Indiana Live broadcast to a roundtable format. And Ken, we've had some really good success with this roundtable format. Good response. People, a lot of viewers come on board. A lot of comments. I don't know. What do you think the secret is?
Well, Dale, I think it's the fact that we take one topic and we dissect it and stay on top of one topic all evening. And of course, I think has been shown, the topics have been the things that matter most to people. I think
Seems to be.
Yeah, so it hits home, and everybody kind of wants to sit around and talk about it. So
Yeah.
I think the format and the way that we've been approaching one topic has been quite attractive.
Well, and I hope viewers are realizing how Convention of States figures into these topics and to what's going on in our country today. Yes, we're constitutional based, but we're interested and we're working on issues that are near and dear to everyone today. So
Well, yeah, I think people are starting to understand that our Constitution is under attack. So
right.
that's where it fits in.
We haven't decided on the topic for this one coming up on the 25th, but it'll be a good one. I guarantee you that. We're already kicking around different ideas for. Speaking of topics, Ken, I know Ken is very, very much involved in generating our uh, COS Indiana newsletter. So, and the topic for the newsletter this month, Ken, is what?
Free speech.
Free speech.
Who'd have
Yeah,
thunk it?
yeah. That's kind of a hot issue these days.
Yeah, it is. And my team has been working really hard to put out a newsletter this month that will certainly hit that topic hard. So yeah, we're looking forward to getting that out here in the next week or so.
And of course, if you're a supporter in the Convention of States here in Indiana, you get that emailed to you. Plus, it appears on our state Facebook page. So it's readily available through numerous sources. But I encourage you all to check on our newsletter. It's a great publication. Ken and Susan Lyon, our newsletter editor, do a great job in producing that monthly newsletter.
Plus, we have a host of great content writers. We have some very talented content writers.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Another way I might mention, if you want to get involved in Convention of States, another form of activism.
That's for sure.
Right? State content writer. And as a matter of fact, that's kind of a good lead in to what we have been talking about all year on our broadcast every Monday night, as well as the roundtable. What action can I take in Convention of States? And I think I probably ought to restate that. What activism can I take in Convention of States? And that can take the form of taking a leadership role in Convention of States, being a district captain or some other legislative liaison, events coordinator, could be various any of the various leadership roles that we have, or it can be as an activist, as a volunteer activist. If you want to attend rallies, if you want to meet with legislators, if you want to write legislators, whatever it may be, we have a place for you in Convention of States. And just to get, as a matter of fact, we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about one of those positions, one of those jobs in Convention of States that doesn't get a whole lot of publicity, but it's another way of exercising one's activism if you're interested in that, and that is to become one of our state videographers.
Yep.
And Ken, I when I decided to do this, I thought, who would be a good example of one of a state videographer. And
I know you had a big list. I
had a hard time coming up with this individual. I really did. You didn't make any suggestions, I might say, but you think there was a reason for that, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I probably wasn't your first choice.
Well, folks, the gentleman that we're going to be interviewing this evening as an example of a great state videographer is our own Mr. Ken Kashuba. And so Ken will change hats here pretty soon from co-host to guest. But yes, Ken is. Well, we'll get into Ken's background and qualifications and when we get into the segment on when we bring him on as a guest and talk to him about being a videographer. So we're going to be talking with Mr. Ken Kashuba this evening as our guest. And then we're dedicating the evening as far as videos are concerned. Everything is going to be a Ken Kashuba video tonight. So we're going to have a couple Maringo Mike videos. Ken's got a couple sample videos that he's produced himself that are very good. So we're going to give you some good examples of what a videographer does in Convention of States. So also, Ken, I know we'll be doing our polling this evening as well. So you want to kind of brief everyone a little bit on what that's going to be about.
Sure. As everybody who's tuned in before is aware that we have a polling section where we present our Slido polls for the week, and that basically gives us some general ideas as to what's popular and what might get onto our roundtable schedule. So I will go ahead and pull up the screen here for the QR code to use, and I'll go ahead and pull that up now so we can bring that in, and that is going to be our COS Indiana. That's not the one. There, we got to find the one that we're looking for here. There we go. Are we able to see that one?
We're not able to see it as yet.
Not showing. Okay, let me go back. That tab should be here. There we go. Now we should be able to see it.
There we go.
That's our QR code for this evening. Or as we've mentioned before, if you happen to be on a tablet or a computer and you don't have the QR code available, you can go to slido.com. Tonight's polling will take place using the number 3726-388, and we welcome everybody to get their smartphones out, grab that QR code. It will be available when we begin the polling. So if you don't get it now while it's up, don't worry. We'll show that to you just as the polling begins. So wanted to get that up, and we will stop our screen share there so we can get back to you. Okay. And I'll have to mark this one down. This number 157th broadcast day. I don't think I've ever had so many hats to wear in one program with you before. So.
Okay. All right. Speaking of QR codes, you don't have do you have your little handy business card QR code?
No, I don't have that in front of me right now. I have it on my phone. Yeah.
See, we got a little thing going here on these QR codes. Ken's a big advocate of QR codes, and I seldom see them. But anyway, he says they're out there frequently. So anyway, he's got a business card now that in the form of a QR code that he.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about carrying all your business cards around in your pocket. Somebody says, "Hey, do you have a card?" You say, "Yeah." You got a phone, and you basically just hold your phone up, and your card is there. It's easy.
Oh, okay. All right. I should have asked you to have that ready to show everyone.
Yeah, you kind of threw that one out there after all this
I didn't think of it earlier. I'm sorry about that.
That's all right.
All right. Well, let's get going here. Then that's kind of what we're going to do this evening with regard to our guest and the polling. So once again, we're going to be talking about convention of states and activism tonight. So as I mentioned earlier, one of the positions that we have available in convention of states is that of a state videographer. And now I say the position of state videographer. Ken's going to explain this as we go on through the interview here. Anyone can be a videographer, right, Ken? And we
Yeah, you don't have
encourage.
to. Yeah, you don't have to. You don't have to go out and buy an expensive camera and or carry all the equipment and have everything ready for you. You can do it with your smartphone. So yeah, I mean,
This is a wonderful tool right here
yep, yep,
to create videos, and we can use these. We can use these.
exactly. A few basic rules to follow, and basically we can use everything people shoot.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
It's great technology. Great technology.
It's come a long way. Yeah.
Yeah, it sure has. So let's Ken, welcome as our guest this evening. Now, we're interviewing Ken this evening as our state videographer. Ken is actually our communications coordinator for the state. So, being a videographer is just one of the positions that falls within his area of responsibility with regard to communications. But Ken, as I ask all my guests, all my convention of states guests, the first thing I ask them is, tell us your COS story.
Dale.
How you got involved in convention of states.
I always find this segment to be interesting. And of course, everybody that has been on and told their COS story, there's a lot of commonalities, but then again, everybody has their own particular matchstick, so to speak, that lit the fire and got them off the couch.
Exactly.
So for me, it was pretty much I came on in 2016. We had already passed the resolution here in Indiana, but I was starting to see things about convention of states prior to the 2016 election. I had seen a few things on Facebook, and I think one of the things that I saw led me to listen to a Mark Levin chat about convention of states, and of course that also spilled over to, I think I saw more from Glenn Beck and a few other prominent broadcasters that were talking about convention of states. So I did a little more investigation on it, and of course leading up to the 2016 election, I was to the point where I was tired of talking to my television. I was tired of actually looking back over the years and finding the amount of times that I've done my civic duty by going down and pulling a lever for somebody and voting, both local and national elections. And I was noticing really that no matter what lever I pulled, the next 2 or 4 years that came around, I was still frustrated with the fact that there was no results. And leading up to the 2016 election, I really started to see that corruption was just out of hand. So I my emotions then have switched, to the fact that now for going on 4 years, I became a grandparent. So right now I have 3 grandkids. 2 at the time. Well, not at the time, not 2 at the time, but 1. Not even 1 yet. These weren't around yet, but I was still thinking. My oldest granddaughter's 4, so she wasn't quite around yet for when I got interested in this. But I thought just my kids, my future grandkids, I didn't want to see. them grow up in an America that was totally different from the one I grew up in. And I just really felt that after a while, it was I had to do something more. So when I saw the Convention of States Article 5 and realized that our forefathers had the intuitiveness to think all this out. And when you think about it, Dale, that it still amazes me that these guys who were not, I mean, a lot of these guys were in their 20s and 30s, I think, when they were doing this. It amazes me still that they came up with the things that they did for our Constitution. And
Right.
so anyway, it prompted me to say, look, I want to do something else. So when I signed the petition, I looked around, and the first thing that popped out for me was the videography, because obviously I had been doing videography for years. Wasn't officially in my own business until 2000, actually, 2016, 2017. So I volunteered as a videographer, and at the time there was maybe 2 others in the state. And I think if you can remember, it goes back. The first time I met you was when I came on as a videographer, and we held a I don't know, was it a state? It wasn't a state meeting. It was just a meeting where we gathered in Indianapolis here, or Hamilton
Right.
County, and we had people from all over come in, and we had a get together, I guess, so to speak.
It was just a gathering, kind of a celebration of passing the resolution.
Yeah,
and just kind of
So anyway, I got to meet Senator, the senators and other people that were attending, and it really helped seal the deal that I wanted to continue as a videographer. And so anyway, at that point, videography was what I wanted to do, and my focus was to go together events, any of the events that the Convention of States was holding, and that's one of the reasons I was there, was to get some footage for that event. But any other types of events that were happening around the state is the things that were part of the job. And I basically, with a little bit of mentoring from Garrett Humbertson, who was our national at the time guy in charge of videographers, basically following some basic rules of interviewing people and getting good audio with your video picture was the concern, and being able to use that video to help our cause, to help grow our grassroots. So that's basically my story. In a long story.
I remember that gathering. I remember meeting you at that gathering, and of course you were pleading with me to make you the communications coordinator for the state. You were.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, the position didn't come available to what, end of 2017 to early 2018. So it wasn't even a position yet, right? Yeah.
Actually, I'm kidding here. I think I kind of had to twist your arm a little bit, because we had not had a. I was just taking over as a state director at that time, and we did not have a communications coordinator for the state of Indiana. So I thought, why not? Ken's got the background here in videography, and he seemed to be interested in communications. So
I'd say you actively recruited me, Dale. Let's put it that way.
Well, it was certainly a good move on my part. It's been Ken's been an excellent communications coordinator, and still does. So anyway, that's your story, right? Okay.
So I was on board. Yes.
You were on board. Okay. I just might mention, I know you mentioned Mark Levin. Everybody that comes on here that tells their COS story, I would venture to say 99% of them mention Mark Levin to some extent. I know he was a big influence on me.
I don't find another man that knows his Constitution, that knows the America like he does. He just amazes me. He's so knowledgeable in that area, and just a good overall speaker. He just convinced me all the way around.
He is.
Yeah.
His name is a constant amongst all of our guests, it seems. So,
Yeah, no doubt.
just anyway. Well, let's. You were. How did you get started in video?
Well, I think I've talked to you about this before. It wasn't something that I've done all my life. I kind of moved to Indianapolis in 1983, same year the Colts arrived. As a matter of fact, that's how I remember it so well. But I moved here from the East Coast in '83 and started my family. And the the one of the jobs that I got that I became part of early on when I was here was working for a gentleman named Jim Cardis, and he had a company called KVC, and it was I found out he was an actual cameraman for Walter Cronkite, which all had my interest. I mean, he had some great stories to talk about how his cameraman adventures with Walter Cronkite were quite captivating. And it was at the early stages of video. And so I was exposed to some things in creating video early on through that company. And it turned out MGM ended up buying that company. And whenever you have a large takeover like that, all kinds of things happen. And I know at the time I was working as an inside salesperson, and the whole sales force was let go. And so I basically ended up in the book business because I started soliciting some of the customers I was selling video to, and one of them happened to be in the book business. So I spent 28 years in the book business, and it revolved around the school calendar. So the school calendar for me meant that I had 3 months in the summer to do some other things. And so I basically picked up a camera and was doing things based on my interest that was sparked by Jim Cardis and the company that I worked for at the time. So that's how I got involved in video. And then when I decided to retire from the book business, I wanted to do it full time, and I wanted to be able to. My whole philosophy with videography is everybody's got a story to tell, and there's a story. Every video should tell a story, and so that's kind of how things came about. I was interested in storytelling, and as we all know, video nowadays is the storyteller, and video is just it's because of, well, I hate to say this for one reason. I mean, people's attention spans have gotten shorter and shorter. So video has to capture it, and has become really the number one go-to communication device for people to get their information.
Well, and that's we're kind of jumping ahead here, but that's a good lead in to why video is so important to convention estates.
Exactly. I mean, at this point, to be able to communicate to the people that are part of our volunteer groups, to be able to communicate that either through training videos or other types of communication that you'd use video for within, we also rely on it heavily to promote our grassroots army to social media, to all the people out there who like us at one time never heard of Convention of States. So it becomes very important because that's what people that's where people's attention is. And so if you can educate somebody in 2.5 or 3 minutes with a video and get them interested, a lot of times that's the flame that gets somebody started. And as we've used that before, the GOTC, get off the couch acronym comes in, and you get people started that way. So
right.
Yeah.
Well, we got a couple sample videos that you've done, Ken, and I thought we would play these, give people a little flavor of what you can do with videos. right?
Yeah, I know one of them was done for actually to promote this program tonight. So I think that's one of them that you have. I think the other one is one that's near and dear to my heart, but we can
Yeah.
discuss that later.
Okay, I think this is the one you're talking about here. Let's play this, and we'll come back to you there.
I think you would agree with me that our Constitution is under attack. If you've never heard of the Convention of States, you might be surprised to know that Article 5 of the Constitution gives we the people, in the collective states of the United States, another way to amend the Constitution in such situations as a tyrannical or federal overreaching government. If you believe, as I do, that we are in a fight to save America, then I invite you to find out more about the Convention of States and Article 5, and how we are using the Constitution to save the Constitution. If you feel you've not had a voice and have asked, "What can I do?" I invite you to join us Monday nights at 7 p.m. for COS Indiana Live broadcast on Facebook and YouTube to learn more about Convention of States and what you can do. I hope to see you there.
Ken, we need to be using this more often.
You forgot it was there, didn't you?
Yeah, I sure did. That's very good. I mean, folks, that's a perfect example of the use of video to promote a particular thing, and in Convention of States. And Ken's, it's very, very good. Very good, Ken. Very good.
Yep.
Now, this next one, it is not Convention of States related, but and we won't play the whole thing, the actual video. This is a trailer, right? Is this what you call a trailer?
Yeah, this was a trailer I made, to kind of preface this video. I basically ran across a family in Richmond, Indiana, that had a great a relative that was lost back in the Battle of Tarawan, which was right after Pearl Harbor, 1943, and they were for many years looking to solve his missing in action. He was listed as a 77-year Marine vet that was missing in action, and it turns out that through technology and some nonprofit organizations that were out to find missing in action Marines and military people, that they discovered there was a mass grave under a building on this island, which was only a half-mile wide and about a mile and a half long. And it turns out, to make a long story short, that this relative turned out to be the person that his name was Louis Wiesenhan, out of Richmond, Indiana. And so anyway, the trailer is about a 3-day documentary that I did where they flew him into Indianapolis. It was delayed a couple times because of COVID, but there was a processional on out to Richmond, and Richmond city, the mayor of Richmond had a ceremony, and they had an actual funeral service held for him, and then they had him taken out by horse and carriage out to a graveyard in Richmond, where they laid him to rest next to his parents. So it was very very emotional.
This is really good. Let's play this one.
Go ahead.
The year 2020 will go down in recent history like no other. Like me, I'm sure we're all a bit tired of things that don't represent the fabric of our country. Last week, I had the opportunity to cover a story that reminded me of what America is, who Americans are. A story of a 20-year-old Marine who gave his life for his country and was listed as missing in action for 77 years. PFC Louis Wiesenhan was miraculously identified in 2019 and returned to his homeland in Richmond, Indiana. As I covered the processional from Indianapolis down US 40, Veterans Memorial Highway, I was reminded of the American spirit, as young and old alike stood to show their respect for someone they never knew, to thank him for his service that gave them the freedom they now enjoy. It was a refreshing sight, one that renewed my hope and spirit, a reprise from the non-stop battering of 2020. The full coverage and story will be released in the coming weeks and available on DVD. For anyone interested in obtaining a copy, you can find information at www.sightandsoundstudios/DVD-order. Or you can email me directly at ken@Sight and Sound Studios for more information. Thank you.
Oh, I'll tell you, that was that story is a tearjerker.
It
really
still chokes
is.
me up. Yep, still chokes me up.
Once again, an example of how video can relay a story and tell a story.
The power of video. Yep. Mm-hmm.
The power of video. I'm going to. We're kind of running along on this, but I want to play one more. And now this is a Ken does as part of our newsletter. Does a segment in the newsletter called Marengo Mike's Corner, and Ken created this character, Marengo Mike, and this is all part of videography in my opinion. So I'm going to play this. This is we're seeking a state social media coordinator position, someone to fill this position. So this is another example of how videography can be used for finding job applicants that are interested in Commission of State. So here we go, Ken.
Okay.
Hello and welcome to another Marengo Mike's Corner. As we all know, building a strong grassroots army requires multiple components and many talents. So, I'm going to be blunt here and call it as it is. The attack on our Constitution and our liberties has moved so many patriots to get off the couch, to get involved and do something. And that something is Convention of States. Inflation is affecting every one of us, and it is a direct result of federal overreach and incompetence. Here at COS Indiana, we need more volunteers on the front lines, and that means social media warriors. But today, I am looking for a special volunteer, one who can help our social media warriors take our message off the charts. We are looking for someone who has organizational skills and social media experience to be our state social media coordinator. Someone who can volunteer 1 or 2 hours a week to help us be more effective in growing our grassroots army and reaching many people still asking, what can I do? So, if you are interested in joining our team and filling this much needed position, reach out to us with an email. Just send it to raiseyourvoicecos@gmail.com. That's raiseyourvoicecos@gmail.com. We want you, and we need you right now. And that's it for this week's Marengo Mike's Corner. See you all next month. Bye-bye.
All right, another example of the many talents of our state videographer, Ken Kashubas. So
That's a little bit more of an arm of videography, but yeah, it all falls under videography. But yeah,
it does. Well, let's wrap this segment up, Ken, and let's just once again stress that anyone can be a videographer, right?
that's very true. Yeah, we can, whether you're an active volunteer now as a district captain, or you're just a content writer, or you're just an activist, that shows up at some of our events. Your smartphone can make you a videographer. Couple of real simple rules. We always want to shoot that smartphone in landscape, because in portrait it looks kind of amateurish because you have these black bars that have to go on the side. And you'll notice even on national or on television broadcasts that when these news stations use some of that video, it was submitted by somebody and they didn't know any better. They just shot it, which is the natural way to do it, is just to hold the phone up and shoot your video. But it creates those bars, and it's a little unsightly. I mean, it works, but it's a little unsightly. So if you hold it landscape, it allows the editors to be able to make a full wide shot on it, and it doesn't look like with the quality of today's smartphones, it looks very good. So holding it landscape wise is the first thing, and secondly is no video is any good if the audio stinks. So you really want to make sure that your subject is close enough that you're getting good video. And there's some awful good third party add-ons you can get for your smartphone. Like you can get little you can actually get Bluetooth microphones that you can, a lapel mic, so you can really get good video, and it'll connect right up to your phone. That's the best way to do it. Other than that, you want to be able to just ask, do a short interview with somebody, ask somebody at an event, whether they've heard of Convention of States, talked about the Article 5, or get their own story about Convention of States, or about the situation that we're in our country right now. And all that video, whether it's at an event or just a place where you can capture video like that, can be submitted to me, and we can use it here in Indiana. Yep.
And you can contact Ken at raiseyourvoicecos@gmail.com, and tell him what you got, and he'll work with you to get that sent to him. You probably won't be, if it's very large at all, you probably won't be able to email it, but he's got some other ways that you can get it to him. So
right.
All right.
Had an interesting comment here, Dale. I'm going to jump in and change hats for a second. Jerry Rowe has posted the fact, he says, my phone does landscape video if you hold it upright. So I need to ask, Jerry, you need to tell me what kind of phone you have. I'm not aware of that yet, but that's a great deal if you got a phone that does that.
Yeah, so. I wasn't aware of that either. Yeah. All right. Okay, I see we're getting some comments. Anybody else? Anything else we need?
Well, we did have Michael Paisley said that he saw a video today where some lady is talking about rewriting our Constitution. Now that's an interesting area. Great. I haven't heard that one yet, but it doesn't surprise me. Let's put it that way.
Okay. All right. Glad to have you, Michael. Glad you're joining us again tonight. All right. Well, Ken, let's get into the polling. Let's get into the segment that we call Raise Your Voice, and let you take over here.
Okay. I'm seeing, or I'm not seeing, a Marengo. Did Marengo leave the building early? I don't see his video here to introduce that. Maybe we missed that, but
looks like we missed it.
I don't see it. So without being that we're running a little short, we'll have Marengo back next week for that, and I will go ahead and share my screen and get this poll underway. Bear with me 1 minute. We'll find the right one here and get the present tab up here. This should be our poll for this evening. It's number 3726388 if you're on anything other than a smartphone. And if you've got your smartphone out, go ahead and capture that slide or that QR code, and that'll get you lined up for our poll tonight. And again, it'll show on the left column of the poll as well. So even if you don't get it right now, we'll bring up our first question, and you can always snap it there. And our first question tonight is, which of these is your biggest concern when it comes to government overreach? Is it vaccination papers? Show me your papers. Is it how to operate your business. We've had plenty of that, I think, over COVID years, as to how do you needed to operate your business if you're a business owner. Or how about what ammunition you can use? This is one I think has been leading up to some stories of late, as far as what ammunition should be available, what should be available to civilians, what should be available to military, so on and so forth. Are any of these three areas a bigger concern? I'm just curious with these three areas. Looks like we got a couple of business people out there that are saying how to operate your business. I think the vaccination papers has died down a little bit, but there's still some concern over that. And I think obviously as we move forward, I think our the whole firearms battle, I think, is going to continue. But well, it's about 50-50 now on those. So that is an area I think that we'll continue to see more people getting involved in on those areas. So that's kind of interesting split there, Dale.
Yeah. That's good. That's good.
I think the vaccination papers obviously fits in with healthcare, and obviously the federal government has gotten into our healthcare a long time ago, and it didn't belong there. So
don't hear much about the vaccination papers anymore, or the cards or anything. Huh?
No. So yeah. I'll go move on to our second question. That is sending oil from our strategic reserves to China reason for impeachment? I'm just curious how many people are aware that we're actually sending our strategic oil reserves to China and other places in Europe. I mean,
I heard a report on this the other night. The really suspicious thing about this is that this oil that he sent to China is going to a company in China that Hunter Biden is associated with, or has been associated with.
And that's a stretch of a reach, isn't it, there, Dale? I mean, a connection with Hunter.
I mean, couldn't be anything wrong here. There's nothing to see here for sure.
Just an energy company that he happened to know nothing about and be involved with. Yeah. This is, I'm sure as everybody else gets up each day and says, can it get any wackier? It just got wackier. So I don't think we're going to get any no's on this. I'm going to move on to our third question, Dale.
Okay.
That happens to be, please rank the 3 COS resolution topics for you as of today. So I know a lot of people, when I've talked to them the first time around, term limits is the first thing out of their mouth. And for me, that was a big one. Fiscal restraint, I think, is still, one of those things that people worry about, but government overreach is our third. And so I'm curious, the reason for this question is basically to see if any of the concerns over the 3 topics that we are dealing with have become more important than previously. And it looks like government overreach is certainly jumping up there in popularity for sure. So I think this will help us as we look into our next roundtable to, maybe find a topic to discuss, Dale.
I've got a comment to make on this one. Have we got all the answers in?
Right now, looks like there's 2, so we'll leave it up for a little bit. I can certainly the poll we can still answer this poll as late as Wednesday morning, I believe, on this. If you just hang on to the Slido poll, okay. But we'll go ahead and move on so that you can get your comment in. Oh, there's another one. There's government overreach, fiscal government limits.
Fiscal restraint. When I started with Convention of States in about 2014, I guess it was 2015. There had been polling done within Convention of States asking this very question: which of the 3 pillars of our resolution? How would you rank them? And at that time, the fiscal restraint was the number one, was the leading. Took first place.
Interesting.
The major concern.
And when was this? What?
This would have been back in 2014, 15.
14. Okay.
Around there.
So before we were actually we had actually passed it here in Indiana.
Right. Right.
Okay.
But I think given what has happened in our country, I think obviously, well, you would think that the national debt is still the major issue, but I think there are so many examples of government overreach that I think people are it's attracting more and more attention.
I agree. I think what
Understand
kind
why
of
that has changed.
yeah. I mean, if you just look at a couple of the real recent hot topics we've talked about, education. I mean, that we don't need a federal Department of Education. Matter of fact, I've heard people talk about that we don't need a state Department of Education. So, it should almost be brought down to even more local level. So when you look at the Department of Education and everything else that's going on, yeah, there's a number of prongs that people see as federal overreach. So it doesn't surprise me, I guess.
Actually, you can tie the issue of national debt to government overreach. I mean, it's kind of all
Yes.
the result of government overreach.
Yeah,
So,
sure. I mean,
very-
at this point, yeah, you can tie it to the trillions of dollars and billions of dollars that are just being executive written off, and nothing goes to Congress anymore.
Right.
They just legislate from the executive branch now and call it a day, and write off
Exactly.
another $1 trillion. So yeah.
Okay, Ken, thank you very much for that. Good. Always enjoy the polling segment, and our viewers have. We get great positive responses from our viewers about the polling. Just want to mention one more time our national website, conventionofstates.com. Next roundtable, it'd be July 25th. And once again, if you want to reach us, if you have a comment or a question that you think of after the broadcast this evening, contact us at raiseyourvoicecos@gmail.com. Okay. I want to give you one more Marengo mic sample tonight. This is the newest one, and this is going to be in the July newsletter, right, Ken?
Correct.
Yeah. So
Getting a sneak preview. You're giving out a sneak preview here, Dale.
You're getting a sneak preview tonight, and so here we go with Marengo Mike. This is about free speech, folks.
Hello, and welcome to another Marengo Mike's Corner. Today's feature, Assault on Freedom. And no, it's not fiction. It's not a Twilight Zone remake. It's a peek into our life as we know it, 2022. An attack, an encroachment on our Constitution and freedoms, beginning with our freedom of speech. Take a seat and join Convention of States as we mobilize the largest grassroots army to limit government overreach. As we look in on this discussion, we find 3 of the 8 people have been silenced because their point of view differed from those on the other side of the table, and 1 failed to use a pronoun to address a person at the table. This is happening today in social media platforms as well as corporate scenarios all across our country. It is not a fictional scene from a movie. So, as images of a variety of speech go by, whether you like or dislike some, agree or disagree with others, the fact remains, free speech, as the First Amendment of our Constitution, guarantees freedom of expression and the rights of our individuals to speak freely. Neither big tech or our government should be able to censor or control our right to free speech. And that's all for now. See you next time. Bye-bye now.
Well, there you go, folks. That's the latest, greatest from Marengo Mike. So, another example of videography. And so, Ken, I want to thank you for being co-host tonight as well as being our guest. I think hopefully everyone understands how important videography is to convention of states. And anyone interested in that area, please go to our website and sign up.
Thanks, Dale. Yeah, it's been fun to bring that out and talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, we don't talk about this very often, but so I think it was a good topic. So let me leave you with our favorite acronym, GOTC. Ken mentioned this earlier. We've all, I think, that have joined Convention of States have experienced this. Get off the couch and do something. It's time to do something, and we would encourage you to choose Convention of States as that something that the time has come to do something, and that is to join Convention of States. So any last thoughts, Ken, or any comments or anything we need to show?
Well, we had a number of things out there. I think I just mentioned, I know, and I don't want to pronounce her name wrong, but it's Lilani Yarwood Galbraith. I know I probably mispronounced that first. She had asked how we will use the videos. I did answer in the chat, but thought it'd be good to just comment on it and tell her that, we use any videos that are submitted to basically highlight events that we are holding around the state, even meetings with our legislators. I know we covered an event where our own Dr. Dan Stock talked about the Convention of States and how that lined up with COVID and other types of things. So a lot of different ways that it can be used, and we will just use it basically to help the growth of our grassroots army.
Okay, good question. Good question. All right. Right. Well, Ken, I think that's a wrap for tonight. So once again, now our next broadcast is going to be a week from tonight, and our guest that evening is a young lady that has just joined us, and her name's Kelly Whittier, and I hope I pronounced that last name correctly. And she has come on as one of our regional legislative liaisons. So whenever we have a new person in any of our leadership positions, we try to feature them on one of our upcoming broadcasts. So next Monday, we're going to have Kelly come on. We'll introduce her to you and fill you in on what she's going to be doing for Convention of States. So with that, we'll say good night for tonight. So thank you all for tuning in and join Convention of States. We need your help. Help us use the Constitution to save the Constitution. So good night, everyone.
See you all next week. Good night.
See you.